Pivot. Oh,
Pivot?
he knows what I mean.
I
Pivot. Pivot. Good.
Tanya, I have a very personal question for you.
Okay, shoot.
How beautiful is your snatch?
You know, I've had a lot of compliments lately on my snatch.
Is it well maintained?
I practice it a lot. I
Oh, really?
I was injured for a while, and so we're talking about the Olympic lift here.
Oh, my
right,
bad. That's different podcast. Sorry.
How many podcasts do you have, and what are your other ones? Oh my God, everybody. Apologies. This was not an official statement from the Affiliate Soapbox. Hey, I'm Coach Tanya.
Coach Mertz.
And this is the Affiliate Soapbox.
Yeah.
So today, guys, we are talking about why you should not skip snatch day. A lot of athletes see this Olympic lift, the snatch, and they're like, yep, off day, rest day, not coming in.
No. Wait.
And we're here to talk to you about why that is just a terrible idea, because the snatch is good for you on so many levels.
Yeah. So I agree with you. It's snatch day. When we see snatch coming up on a day, it's one of those days that really is a problem for a lot of people because there's a lot of issues with it. It's a very technical lift. People have a problem expressing their physicality with it, the technique and all that. And a lot of times people just come into it with the wrong mindset. And, how do we develop that mindset to say, hey, look, snatching is good. So where would you start that discussion at?
Well, first, I think we always talk about, well, snatch will develop your athleticism, your strength, your speed, I think one of the most important places to start is what it does for your brain. And that's not something that comes to people's minds immediately. When you think of this very technical lift, you get, maybe on a platform, maybe just in the middle of the CrossFit floor, right?
Yeah.
And you pick something up, moderately heavyweight to heavyweight, from the ground and go straight to overhead. It's fast. And you're like, what does that got to do with my brain? Actually, a lot. So let's talk about how it improves both your brain health and then all the way down to the rest of your body. Okay. So weightlifting as a whole is great for your brain, right? So it helps protect against cognitive decline, but specifically something as technical as snatching. So you've got the fact that it increases blood flow and nutrients to your brain, right? Which is amazing for cognitive function.
Need that.
Right. It protects against cognitive decline, things like Alzheimer's, dementia. Okay. So once we're looking at how do we protect ourselves and how do we improve that memory function, we're talking about the fact that it improves activity in the brain where movement is controlled, which once you're talking about controlling movement, you're talking about your memory, your focus, your concentration. It all, is connected, and it all comes together in this single lift. So if we're moving, more, we're recruiting larger number of muscles. Okay. We've got more intermuscular coordination, and you have to be more efficient with these movement patterns. So naturally that's lending to increased neuromuscular function. And then you're looking at the fact that it's increasing, you were talking about this earlier, your balance and even your posture, right? So
yeah,
instead
we're
of
talking
sitting
about posture.
here, we're talking about
yeah.
posture, and that, goes into your proprioception. Where is your body in space? How are you moving in space? What is your balance like? What's around you, and how are you navigating the world directly within, 2 or 3 feet of you?
Yeah. And you go back to like you said, neuromuscular. What does that mean? We are built of nerves, and these nerves fire off muscles. And if we don't know how to move or connect our brain to those muscles, that's where you see these limitations kind of happen. And doing so, learning the snatch, you are increasing the nerves of your system to fire off correctly. And that's what drives yourself to be able to use your body in space better and whatnot. And we often talk about gymnastics and learning gymnastics to move your body in space. The snatch is kind of the equivalent to like the ring muscle up in a way, right? So you have to be able to express power technique. And with that being said, you have to have, and with the ring muscle up, you have to have a certain strength qualifications to be able to do it. With the snatch, you don't really need the strength modifications like you do in a ring muscle up. Now, your expression of power is going to be limited by the muscle, but what I mean by that is that
What do you mean by that, please?
I can give you a PVC pipe.
Oh, true.
Right? I can't do that with a ring muscle up, can I?
No.
So the idea here is that it will give you this basically the same type of body awareness as a ring muscle up, but with a PVC pipe, and you can upgrade from there, right?
That's true. You can start with a PVC pipe, whereas when you're looking at muscle ups, you really need to master
your pull-ups,
other skills
yes.
first. That strict pull-up, right? Then that kipping pull-up, then the strict chest to bar, then that kipping chest to bar, then the strict bar muscle up.
All those things.
Right? The strict ring muscle up before we, so it's much less of a progression. You can hand me a PVC pipe and work on the snatch on day one.
Correct. And I tell you, going back, what was your first day of snatching look? What did it look like?
It looked like a PVC pipe, right? And I want to say it was for a good 20 minutes because it was my first day. And then we moved me to a training bar, which is 15 pounds. And I thought to myself, this is no problem. But once we got that weight in my hand, everything I just learned, right, went straight out of my brain. So I had to relearn it. So talk about improving focus, concentration, and memory. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's, before you get to the point where you're an elite lifter, a master lifter, or even an experienced athlete, where your body will start taking over and that muscle memory will start taking over, you're constantly learning those basics. And even once you've become an experienced lifter, now you have to relearn the basics to just tweak that lift and improve that lift a little bit more. So absolutely, you start with the PVC pipe. You continue with the PVC pipe.
All the time.
It's amazing. I think we've talked about this, how many lifters you hand them, they'll walk into the gym and they've done Olympic lifting competitions and you hand them a PVC pipe and they're like, what? No, I'm going to start with the bar. No, the PVC pipe is where you learn. You start light. And you're right. Unlike the high-skilled gymnastics movements, day one, you can start with the snatch.
You can start with the snatch.
I just said Mertz was right, you guys. That's new and exciting. What's the date? Should we write that down?
What do you know?
Every once in a while.
So I remember my first time went through fundamentals with the snatch, but how much I remember my fundamentals, we had 20-something people in class. It's not like I can get that much one-on-one attention, but I remember going into, the gym would have a twice a week Olympic weightlifting kind of class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the first, I would say for the first few months, I never got a barbell. Because most of the time, what you can look, it's easy to take a PVC pipe and put it over your head, but do it right is totally different, right?
Correct.
And then you're limited by if you're doing a squat snatch, you're limited by what does your position look like overhead? Well, my position overhead looked like absolute. So that's why I had the PVC pipe and I sat there and just did squat therapy and whatnot to be able to get into that overhead position, because you can't overhead squat the weight. You probably shouldn't be trying to snatch the weight.
Okay.
There's an argument.
Correlation.
There's a correlation there, right? I remember going through my USAW1. One of the we went through three different testings and basically one of them was overhead squat. Took a PVC pipe. What does it look like? And the idea there is that if you can't overhead squat it, you probably shouldn't be trying to squat snatch it. Now, can you power snatch it? Sure, you probably can,
So what we're talking about, for anyone listening that is like power squat, what are you talking about? We're talking about receiving position of the bar, right? We're talking about what happens once that bar moves upward off the ground and you want to get that bar overhead. And so you're moving your body into full extension. And the idea is, how do we get that bar overhead whether it's with weight or not, and receive the bar instead of just pulling it up using our arms? This is a full body movement. In what position do we land with that bar overhead before standing up, right? So if we're talking about power or snatch position, your power position being in a partial squat and your squat snatch position being in a full depth squat.
Full depth squat. And what we oftentimes see is when the weight gets too heavy, what happens with the elbows? the elbows bend in the overhead position, and they're not able, they're not getting underneath the bar very well with that full lockout. So all those little things, you can't now. Can you test that with the PVC pipe overhead squat? No, not really. But once you get into the groove of having a barbell in your hands, and you're one of the things that as a coach I look for with somebody who's new with some decent, with some weight, be it a barbell or something, and I see that elbow being bent, we have to drop the weight. We have to drop the weight.
I would argue you can test that with a PVC. So I've found in athletes that when we have issues with having our arms overhead, whether it's with PVC, no weight whatsoever, just having your arms overhead, sinking into a squat or even a partial squat, if that elbow bends, and it can, and a lot of folks it
Yeah,
will,
yeah.
that's showing me that that athlete, that person has some shoulder instability, a weakness, muscular weakness on a certain side, right? We've got something going on in one or more of our shoulder muscles,
Or
right? In that,
thoracic
or
spine.
thoracic spine in that joint, that because our body will adapt to that instability, lack of strength by bending a joint, in this case, the elbow.
Yeah.
So I think you definitely can see that elbow bend.
Oh,
And that's something else. The
you're right.
snatch will expose problems. It will tell you there are things wrong that you wouldn't necessarily find out from
Yeah.
another Olympic lift, like the clean, which is the only other Olympic lift. But and the same thing with the deadlift. You can see some of that inability, lack of strength, imbalance with a deadlift, but is not apparent as something would be with the snatch,
No.
with that dynamic movement and all the different positions that you're going to find your body in.
But with that being said, we know exactly if again, going back to what you just said, if we have a PVC pipe and we're squatting down and we see the elbows bend, we already automatically know that this person has a mobility issue, probably more than anything. And then at that point, hey, guess what? Squat therapy, learning how to create stability, create that mobility to be able to express that movement in the best way you can.
And strength and mobility work for the shoulders, or for,
Sure.
for the ankles, which is a lot of times we see that from the bottom up, where we see the restriction might be all the way down in your ankle. And that's why we have problems
Yeah.
over
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So I think the snatch is a diagnostic tool. So first we were
100%.
talking about what the snatch can do for your brain, right? And now let's talk about what the snatch can do just in allowing your coach or your professional trainer to diagnose where you might have weaknesses and imbalances. Even though you don't have an injury, we might be able to say, oh, look,
Yeah, sure.
we've got a
Yeah.
problem in that left shoulder, right?
Yeah.
We need to strengthen that shoulder. We need to figure out why that shoulder's not moving as quickly or as smoothly as the other shoulder.
Oh, 100%. And the snatch again, why do people avoid snatch day a lot of times? Is because they're not able to push the strength. It's not like doing back squats, deadlifts, press, any other pressing movement. It limits their value in terms of muscle adaptations there. And I can understand that. But with that being said, don't come in thinking that I've never told anybody you'll never get stronger snatching. It's not about just getting stronger. It's really not. It's about everything else.
It's about everything you learn through the snatch that you can then apply to other lifts.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the arguments there, which you just kind of mentioned briefly, is, Coach, it's too hard. It's so technical. There's so many different things. I can't remember it. I can't do it. But that's the point. Nobody is walking into your gym. Not even one of the CrossFit Games athletes is walking into the gym. Not the Olympic athletes who do Olympic lifts at the Olympics. They're not walking in on day one, picking up the bar with great snatch form, even relatively decent
nobody.
snatch form. The idea is it's hard. The purpose is it's a difficult lift. And in learning that lift, in that lifetime it takes to learn that lift, we will all spend a lifetime perfecting a snatch. If you find someone doing a perfect snatch, you're dreaming, because there is no such thing. The snatch is designed so that it's a continuous improvement from day one until the last time you pick up a barbell or a PVC.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
designed to help you improve. And so to argue that it's too hard, it's too technical, there's so many things. Exactly. Because that technicality is where we improve your neuromuscular function. That technicality is where we improve that focus, that concentration, how to move all of these different muscle groups at the same time with efficiency,
Yeah.
right? And grace. Because when you see a snatch done with good form, It's
It's so
beautiful.
beautiful.
It's a
It's
gorgeous lift, and as scary as sometimes people see it, I think one of the things we also don't mention is how much confidence it gives you. When I first started working on this snatch, I was horrified at what it felt like. I was horrified at what it looked like. And I was like, man, are we working on this again today? And then I saw everyone around me working harder at it. And I thought, well, everybody else is doing it, right? So I started going to specific Olympic lifting classes. You didn't need to. I didn't need to because we were learning them in CrossFit, but I was so worried about how I was deficient in this movement, in this lift. And once I had started working on it for several months specifically, I was able to do more, lift a little bit more weight, and someone took a video of me and I was like, "Oh my god, look how good
yeah,
that looked."
that's
It didn't
awesome.
look perfect,
But it's better than when you
right?
started.
But it was better
Yeah.
than when I
Oh,
started.
yeah.
And then, only about 6 months in, just on a whim, I signed up for this Olympic lifting competition. It was local and, a bunch of people from the gym were going, so you get peer pressured
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
it.
you get peer pressure.
And I went up there in the platform. For my age group and my weight level, I was lifting the same as this 12-year-old girl was literally, that's who I followed because they categorize you by what you could lift so that
Yeah.
they didn't have to keep reloading the bar. So I was I was lifting with the 12-year-old girls for weight. And I put that bar overhead in my snatch and it was terrible. I walked forward, I lost my balance, right? I was all over the platform. But when I was done, I finished the lift and I stood up.
Yeah.
And the amount of confidence that gave me to know that I had just at least gotten that bar from ground to overhead, I didn't hurt myself.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it was at least as good as this 12-year-old girl. And I got to tell you, these 12-year-olds,
Oh,
if
look.
you can, when you find yourself lifting as much as they are, sometimes that's a
Well,
massive feat right there.
And the thing about it is not that you're weaker than them. It's
No.
just that they are, look, at 9 years old, you don't have these mobility issues that developed over time,
You don't have
right?
as much fear.
And fear is probably one thing too. I mean, sometimes those but my point is that over a lifetime of sitting down constantly, not losing our mobility, because you got to think about it. Like when you look at a baby move around, babies can squat. They can do all kinds of things with their bodies that we can't do now because our bodies basically tightened up, mobility was lost. And so with that being said, it's not that the girl's any stronger than you. It's just that she has probably had more mobility than you.
She's probably moving more on a daily basis. She's definitely not as afraid. And as we get older, we tend to have those, I've been so sedentary for 20, 30, 40,
Yeah.
50 years that now I'm hurting myself getting up out of the chair, stepping off on a curb.
Yeah.
So when I put a PVC pipe in your hand and ask you to do a snatch, right?
We have to undo all that.
You have to undo all of that fear. And the point of that being that once we're lifting weights, moving more, and learning something technical like a snatch, you're so much less likely to get that small injury from stepping off the curb, from reaching overhead to get something, from lifting up a grandchild. We all know that Mertz has got some grandkids in the works, so I keep saying grandchildren.
Not yet.
You better keep snatching more. You need to start working on this. From picking that child up, lifting them overhead, either for fun or because you've got other kids and dogs running through and you need to get that child out of the way of traffic.
Yeah.
Right?
Like with me, I've been doing CrossFit for a long time, and it took me forever to really get comfortable with the snatch. When I say forever, it probably took me 8 years. And with that being said, my mobility really sucked for a long time. And it wasn't like, I remember my first competition I did, I split snatched. I freaked out all the judges, all the crowd, because I didn't have the mobility to receive the bar in a full squat position with the weight that I was handling. And it wasn't until after that first meet, I said, the next meet I go to, I'm no longer split snatching. I'm going to do, so I worked on developing my mobility with weight overhead. Of course, I had to bring the weight down to be able to do that. But at my next meet, I was squat snatching more than I was split snatching. And it was just my focus went from, I just don't want to be okay at the snatch. I want to get better at the snatch.
Well, let me ask, so how many times do you think you snatch in any given year?
Well, it matters. So like, loaded question there, because you're talking to somebody who has competed in weightlifting. If you're realistically, and with the CrossFit development of Olympic lifts and all the body weight gymnastic stuff and the cardio. It's not a whole lot of time in there to be able to fit in snatch once a week. And
But I'd say over the span of your 8, 9, 10 years in CrossFit, you've snatched a lot, right?
oh yeah,
More than the average person. So
sure, yeah.
so let me ask you this. Today is Snatch Day here at X7 CrossFit. So when you come to class later, which I know you are, and you do the snatch, given how much experience you've had, given how many times you've snatched, what do you expect from me? Do you think that I'm going to find something you can improve in your snatch
100%.
today?
Yeah, 100. Oh, I think there's, yeah, because it's nowhere near perfect. I could probably tell you, I could probably get a list of issues that you'll see right off the bat.
Right? You're walking in with, these are my problems.
Yeah, I know exactly what my limitations are, but I'm always constantly working on improving those limitations. And that's kind of going back to this. That's why, look, when it's snatch day and you're like, well, I don't want to go, come in because you're going to learn something. This is a teaching. This is a class, it's a CrossFit class. They don't call it CrossFit workout. Come in and work out and leave. It's CrossFit class. You're expected to learn something. We're here to teach you. So come in with an open mind that you want to learn how to get better at snatching. And that will pay dividends because if you avoid it, you'll never get good at it.
That's true. And, we've talked about, okay, so it improves, certain areas of our life. It improves our neuromuscular function. It improves our cognitive function. It's improving our balance and our coordination. Let's talk about it more in terms of an athlete, somebody who's already coming into CrossFit, somebody who's maybe playing another sport. So what does the snatch do for them? Like, what does the snatch have to do with me, right?
Well,
with any athlete.
It's the core to extremity. It's the expression of power and the ultimate form there because, clean and jerking was the strongest expression of power, but you're not putting a bar from the ground to overhead. You're able to bring it up to your shoulders and then go into the jerk position with a lot more weight than a snatch. But what's happening there is that you're going back to your neurologically, you're developing that space and time. You're developing patience, expression of power, and all bundle this all up for an athlete to come in and learn how to snatch. Because this is one of those things, right? A lot of strength and conditioning coaches, they'll teach the clean. They don't teach the snatch because they don't think that it pays dividends like other movements will. And there's an argument to be said about that. I mean, it matters on what kind of athlete you're trying to be. I think there's worth in learning the snatch for an athlete that's doing sports. Is the clean a better way to express power? I could argue say yes, it is. But ultimately, if you're learning how to snatch and you're out playing sports, it's going to make you even better.
Yeah, I would argue that while the clean may be a better expression of power, of strength, the snatch in itself is a better expression of technique.
Yeah.
Right? The
Yeah.
snatch is going to improve your coordination, your accuracy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It also, to a certain extent, your cardiovascular ability. Because if you take a workout, let's say Isabel, right? How many snatches, how quickly you're doing something, you're using your entire body and you're moving it quickly from ground to overhead. That's
Yeah.
cardiovascular
yeah.
movement right there. So you're improving things with the snatch that either the clean and jerk or the deadlift don't improve as much, right? The snatch is kind of honing in, right, on more technique, more accuracy. It definitely still improves power, okay? And it also is helping improve that mobility that you're not going to get with these other heavier lifts.
No, yeah. How can I say this? This doing the snatch, and going back to kind of what my experience with it, and you talking about Isabel. Once I focused on improving my snatch, everything else in the gym got better. And what I mean by that, like Isabel, I PR'd Isabel only because I learned how to move more efficiently with it.
So let's talk about what Isabel is.
30 snatches for time.
For time, right.
Yeah.
So, and what do you think your best time on Isabel?
Oh, it's I want to say it was like 3:30 to 4 minutes, something like that. It's been a
That's
minute.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So 30 snatches, not a amount of time. That goes back to what I said. Cardiovascular ability right there, because you're moving. You're moving well in
Yeah.
order to
Well, that's the
keep
whole
that up.
point.
Because as a
Yeah.
coach, if you do a snatch and you don't stand up all the way, or you're doing a press out, you don't lock that elbow, I'm no repping you
You're
in the
leaking.
gym,
Well, the thing is, you're
right?
leaking power.
You're leaking power.
Right.
Right.
So what if you're not doing it correctly? You're catching you're catching the barbell in aggressive positions that are leaking power and leaking strength and all these little leaks. It's like having a faucet on drip, 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 drip. If you can tighten that faucet up and then the expression of power becomes even better. Your technique is better, so therefore you're not leaking any inefficiencies in your movement. And movement, if you're moving, I've been doing this for a long time. You have somebody come in and doesn't move as well as me, but is stronger than me. I probably beat them just for the sake of me moving better than them.
Right.
Right.
And I think it goes back to, I'm going to call it the dodgeball theory
Okay.
of, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. So if you think about it in those terms, if you can pick up and snatch 150 pounds in one smooth movement, get that weight overhead, stand up with it with great form and no injury, you can certainly lift up a 50-pound child. You can certainly move 40, 50, 60 pounds of groceries. I don't know how much groceries you put in the same bag. I wouldn't suggest that much. The bag will break. But, if we improve our ability to lift heavier things more quickly with good form, then it definitely still translates to the everyday aspect of our lives. What can I do that's super difficult that then improves my ability to do the super easy things without injury, without hesitation, without asking for help?
Yeah, I think the whole thing is just coming in and having an open mind that you're going to learn something today. And look, it is technical. There's a lot of different, a good Olympic weightlifting coach is not going to give you 5 things to fix.
No.
One or two.
And
that's all we're going to do. We're going to one or two, the 1 or 2 things that can help improve your snatch. We're going to work on that. You're going to remember that for the next time and just dial that in. It's going back to it. You're right. It's a lifetime of achievement to be able to get your snatch as perfect as possible. It never could be perfect. It never can be perfect. And if you just go into it with that mindset that, hey, just come in and you're going to move. We're going to learn something. We're going to learn how to move better with the snatch and across the board as you get better. And it wasn't until I finally felt comfortable with the snatch 8 years later that I'm like, oh, I love snatching.
Well, and I think too, the more you fail at this lift, the more you learn. The more you fail at the lift, the more times you have to do it. So the more you work out and the more you fail, turns out to be the more fun you have, right? If you've got a class full of people working on their snatch, we're all supporting each other. We're laughing when Mertz, accidentally split snatches it or falls on his butt. But it's definitely something where it makes the learning process fun. It's something where everybody's still learning it and nobody is in the corner saying, I can't do it, where someone else is in the corner doing it perfectly and walking away.
Yeah.
It definitely becomes a group activity. And I think that's part of what we're trying to promote here now, with CrossFit is come on and do it with us. You don't have to learn this by yourself. And this super technical lift is for everyone and anyone. So come on in, let's snatch. Don't skip snatch day, folks.
So I have a question for you, Tanya.
Sure.
Does your snatch feel better after this podcast?
It's so much better.
Absolutely. How could it not? Even talking about snatching makes snatching better. Folks, thanks for joining us today. Please like, share, and follow. I'm Coach Tanya.
Coach Mertz.
And this has been the Affiliate Soapbox.
Get to the snatch.
Let's
go. Clean up that snatch, baby.
That's right. Clean up that snatch. I don't even know if that makes sense. Does it?
Does, always. Oh, look.
Is Lance coming today?
Oh, Lance. But Lance, he needs to work on his snatch. It's been kind of dirty lately.
Oh, God.